breaking report finds Maine failed to investigate things like death, sexual abuse, and medication errors of people with disabilities on MaineCare. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Jessica Gagne in for Lee Goldberg. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, we're going to check in with Keith Carson, who's got a first look at your forecast. Hey, Keith.
Hey, ladies. We had a couple of thunderstorms out there, one of which is actually severe right now. Here's a look at the general radar. You can see the severe storm coming to the east of 95 here. They warned it, the National Weather Service did, because of the possibility of some hail, although my weather watchers on the ground in Vassalboro told me there was not hail when it came through there, just gusty winds and a lot of heavy rain, and they just dropped that severe thunderstorm warning that continues to move off to the east. A couple more thunderstorms that look pretty nasty here, going up the highway here on 201, not highway, but up Route 201. A lot of cloud to ground lightning here, non-severe, but it could be producing some small hail. And then this thunderstorm through Old Town and Bangor kind of gusted out here as it heads towards Clifton and Great Pond. So a couple of convective storms out there. Could see one more or two that turn severe before things settle down later on this evening. Our small-scale computer model didn't do a great job initiating these thunderstorms, so my guess is it'll take till after 8 to settle these down, probably 8:30 or 9. Tomorrow is a decent day, but it's not quite as sunny as the past 2 days have been, particularly along the coastline, where we'll be dealing with a little bit of a fog bank action off and on through the day, keeping temperatures cooler in places like Rockland and up into Bar Harbor. Thunderstorms again pop up as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Some of those again could be on the stronger side. And at this point, the weekend continues to look split, ladies, meaning there will be some showers, but it's not a complete washout.
All right, Keith, thank you. Now on to that federal report. It's a report that focuses on the time frame from 2013 to 2015. Auditors have found that the Maine Department of Health and Human Services failed more than 2,600 Medicaid beneficiaries. According to the report, DHHS didn't investigate any of the 133 beneficiary deaths during the audit period, nor did law enforcement open up any investigations into them.
Now, additionally, the report found no evidence was provided to a committee in charge of identifying potential trends. An example of an uninvestigated death provided in the report details a female beneficiary who drowned while unattended in a bathtub. And we will have more, including our attempts to get more from the former commissioner, Mary Mayhew, in just a moment. First, though,
yes, a former state lawmaker says she wants to be governor. Diane Russell announced her candidacy today. She's the 7th Democrat to join the 2018 run. Russell plans to campaign on progressive issues as a single-payer health care, universal college education, and higher wages. In a statement, she said to us, quote, "This is about the hard-working families of Maine who are getting left behind and forgotten. More status quo politics is not going to cut it." Now, you'll have a chance to ask Russell your own questions about her run for governor coming up on Monday on News Center Now.
Activist groups Fair Rent Portland and Give Neighborhoods a Voice have had quite the turn of events this week. The group spent 5 weeks collecting 2,500 petition signatures to support changes in increasing rental prices and zoning issues in Portland. However, after handing them into the city clerk's office on Monday, August 7th, city officials said there just isn't enough time to schedule and hold a public hearing on the issues. The groups expressed their frustration. The city claimed their mistake. Now, city officials may have found a few ways to get those issues on the November ballot. It turns out the 90-day requirement between the hearing and the election may be actually void because an ordinance from 1991 is still in effect. The second option would be for the City Council to give the referendums a delayed effective date and then send both questions to voters as an advisory question. City Council is still looking into their opinions and will hold a workshop to discuss.
Now, it's one of the most memorable moments of the 20th Beach to Beacon when Rob Gomez helped Jesse Orack over the finish line so Orack could win the title of top runner in the Maine men's division. Beach to Beacon officials decided to reward Gomez for his outstanding display of sportsmanship by presenting him with the same trophy that the winners get. I was there at the presentation earlier and talked with those involved about the special event. So, Mike, you were there when Rob picked Jesse up and brought him across the finish line. What was going through your head when you saw that?
Well, I usually run the race, but this year I couldn't run it because I had a leg injury, so I was there and I saw this. And I will tell you that this will absolutely go down in the annals of Beach to Beacon as one of a very, very inspirational story. What I witnessed and what everybody else witnessed that day was a true act of two competitors finishing with pride, dignity, and selflessness. So it was just a wonderful experience.
And Rob, how does it feel to be recognized today and take home your own Beacon box?
It's overwhelming. It's really kind of the race organizing committee and Thomas Moser. Ultimately, I wish I could give a box to everyone who's been a part of this, because all I did was make a split-second decision, and it's really blown up beyond anything I could possibly imagine. So it's been really nice. I'm really appreciative, but I really think it's way too much. That's what I think.
Well, do you plan on running the race next year?
I certainly do, yes.
And do you think something like this might happen again, or?
I want to say to the entire 2018 crowd who's going to be there running, don't get any bright ideas. I won't carry anyone else across the finish line next year.
I gotta say, I don't blame him for that, but Jesse Orek was actually there to see his presentation too, which was cool, so to cheer him on and give him the recognition that he deserves, so I love that.
So great they could honor him.
I love it. All right, coming up, let's go Pats!
Yeah, we're headed to Foxborough to see how a Maine athlete hopes to earn his spot in the Patriots lineup tonight. News Center's Chris Costa is next with that.
Now back to that report we told you about earlier in the show, the federal report that looks into Maine and the Department of Health and Human Services. Mary Mayhew was a commissioner of the Department of Health and Human Services through the time span that report covers.
She's now vying for the top spot in Maine politics, governor. So we wanted to get her insight on the report, but it was not easy. It started with a few phone calls, first to Mary Mayhew herself.
Please leave me a message, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hey Mary, it's Amanda Hill calling with Channel 6 again, just checking in to see if you got my last message. Then a few calls to her campaign manager.
At the tone, please record your message.
Then one more call, this time to her former boss, Governor Paul LePage. Honestly, just looking for a comment on that audit that came out about DHHS. Then an email to his communications office. So we hit the road, but Mayhew wasn't home. On the ride, we did get something, a response on Facebook from a page we had messaged earlier in the day, Mayhew for Maine, a statement that reads, quote, "There is nothing more important than the health and well-being of our most vulnerable citizens. That's why I fought for and prioritized $100 million extra for our disabled adults while I was at DHHS. I cleaned up significant problems within the department and prioritized services for our most vulnerable. This audit, consistent with similar audits in Massachusetts and Connecticut, is a reflection of prior administrations and years of explosive entitlement growth prioritizing able-bodied adults at the expense of our most vulnerable. Today, the department is prioritizing our most vulnerable. There is financial discipline and stability and a commitment to accountability and quality results." End quote. When asked if she would speak on camera, that message went unanswered. Coming up in the next half hour, DHHS responds with a statement of their own, blaming a transition period, and we speak with one of the inspectors who actually put that report together. And still ahead on now, a manifesto claiming that women's biology makes them less successful, and it has a Google engineer in trouble.
And will the weekend bring storms? Keith maps it out for us when we come back.
Aww. All right, believe it or not, the New England Patriots back in action tonight in Foxborough.
I know, it's already happening. So exciting. It's the first preseason game of the year, and News Center's Chris Costa shows us the Mainer to keep an eye on at Gillette Stadium.
Welcome to Gillette Stadium. Tonight, the New England Patriots host the Jacksonville Jaguars in their first preseason game. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Brandon Cooks, some of the superstars not expected to play much, if at all, tonight. Instead, it could be a chance for one of Maine's own to prove his worth. Trevor Bates is from Westbrook and is one of the few players from Maine to be drafted to the NFL. He was with the team for their Super Bowl 51 victory in Houston. Trevor is from Westbrook and played at the University of Maine. Now, while these preseason games typically don't mean much, this is just one of a few chances for Bates to earn a spot on the team. Kickoff tonight is at 7:30, and make sure you tune into News Center on September 7th, not only for the Patriots' first regular season game, but also for a special broadcast from News Center highlighting all of the main connections to the New England Patriots. In Foxborough, Chris Costa, News Center.
The way you watch videos online could be changing. Facebook says it's launching a new section dedicated to live and recorded videos. Right now, most people watch videos on Facebook when they scroll down their main news feed. The new Watch section will allow users to find videos and series they like, keep up with them as new episodes air, and they can interact with other fans in the process. Some of you may notice the change starting today, and others will get it in the coming months.
A controversial manifesto written by a male Google engineer stating women are less successful in tech due to their biology. It's gotten him into a lot of trouble.
That employee, James Damore, was fired by Google, and now he's speaking out exclusively to NBC about the culture at Google and his dismissal. NBC's Jo Ling Kent reports.
It's just that I don't like having these taboos. So
software engineer James Damore speaking out about being fired by Google on Monday for his internal memo, writing that male and female tech workers differ in their abilities due to biological causes, and Google's diversity efforts are bad for business.
The culture is very left-leaning and just intolerant of anyone that holds a differing opinion.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai said Damore's manifesto violated its code of conduct and crossed the line by advancing harmful gender stereotypes in our workplace. The company says we invest a lot in our efforts to create a fair and inclusive environment for all our employees across all genders and races. Reaction to Damore's firing was mixed. WikiLeaks' Julian Assange tweeted, "Women and men deserve respect. That includes not firing them for politely expressing ideas, but rather arguing back." But others say they're fed up with attitudes like Damore's. Kate Houston worked for Google in Canada, Australia, and London between 2011 and 2014. She says she left because of what she felt was a misogynistic culture.
I saw many of my women friends also be treated poorly by the men that they worked with, and eventually I didn't want to do that anymore.
The Labor Department is already suing Google over pay discrimination, alleging systemic compensation disparities against women across the workforce. Google denies the allegations. Now, this new ad for a proposed class action lawsuit against Google seeks victims of alleged compensation discrimination. Damore says before his firing, he filed a complaint against Google with the National Labor Relations Board, saying upper management is shaming me in order to silence my complaints. He says his only goal was to spark a conversation about gender in tech.
I'm not just attacking diversity. I'm just attacking the fact that we can't honestly discuss any of these issues, and that is actually hurting the problem.
Damore believes his firing was illegal, and he will be taking legal action to challenge his dismissal, and Google plans to hold an all-staff town hall today to address the controversy.
Country music star Taylor Swift took the witness stand in federal court Thursday in a civil trial alleging a former radio DJ touched her inappropriately during a 2013 pre-concert in Denver. Swift testified that DJ David Mueller groped her when the two posed for a photo together during a meet and greet photo session before her 2013 performance in Denver. She said she then tried to get as far away from Mueller as she could without stopping the event, so she didn't disappoint the people waiting in line. Swift said the incident was, quote, something I did not want known, and that she couldn't have done anything about what happened without others already in the photo area overhearing.
Yeah, Mueller sued Swift and others on her team for $3 million in damages, claiming they cost him his job and his reputation. Swift countersued, alleging sexual assault, and is asking for a symbolic $1 judgment. Her lawyers say she did not know Mueller and has no incentive to target or fabricate a story. Mueller wrapped up his testimony yesterday while under cross-examination. He did admit that various supervisors with his radio station and its parent firm had discussed the possibility of letting him go even before his encounter with Swift. So
now we have Taylor Swift's biggest fan with us for the weather.
Yeah, all right, where do we go from there? Right. Today was a pretty nice day. Tomorrow will be decent and the weekend continues to look mixed. But next week, if you have next week on vacation, really nice weather coming up next week. All right, some thunderstorms popping out there. We had a couple of severe storms. They've dropped the box, though, because they've gone below severe criteria. This was the cell going through China right now and to the north of Palermo. And another one coming into Rome here. This one may be actually a little bit stronger. Hail has been the main threat and gusty winds with a couple of these cells as well. This cell has gusted out towards Old Town, moving through Great Pond and Clifton. So I don't expect that'll be anything but some heavy downpours, which, by the way, we need as the drought continues to deepen. And this cell right here is most likely putting down some hail on its way towards Greenville. All right, so tomorrow will be similar to today, but I think we'll see more clouds and a little bit of a fog bank with an onshore flow. That onshore flow will put a fog bank just offshore tomorrow and then going back and forth along the coastline. So expect some of that fog if you live along the coastline. Showers and thunderstorms pop up in the afternoon on Friday. And again, Saturday and Sunday look okay. We've got this front trying to come through, but it's very slow to do so. So Saturday has considerable cloudiness with some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Then Sunday we get a front through, we have a little disturbance behind it. So I think Sunday is the brighter of the two weekend days, but once again, we'll see some showers in the afternoon. Hour-by-hour forecast shows you that fog bank trying to come on shore tomorrow morning, so watch that. Otherwise, we get into the mid-80s inland. These thunderstorms fire up in the afternoon. A couple of them will be on the stronger side. And you'll notice on Saturday quite a bit of cloud cover with showers kind of scattered around, just enough to make it difficult to plan things. And we get the same kind of forecast as we had in the Sunday. We had talked about a tropical system and whether or not we had to watch it for mid-next week. It's starting to look like that storm will die out and never really turn into much of anything, which is good news, of course, for the eastern seaboard and Maine specifically. I'll keep an eye on it, see if anything changes, but it looks as though it just hit too much wind shear down there and it's not going to be able to turn into much of anything. All right, your extended forecast again turns really nice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday after what is a split weekend for sure. And be aware that the weekend is not a washout. It's not even cloudy the whole time. It's just one of those ones that's a little tricky to plan around because there'll be a chance of showers on Saturday and again on Sunday. I think on Sunday they'll be tended to be a little bit earlier. So Sunday afternoon may be your best time period. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday all look good. Temperatures could be actually a little bit warmer than these mid-80s, but I'll keep a close eye on that and see if that trends upward. And humidity relatively low. So Amanda and Jess, this may actually be one of the best stretches of the summer here from Monday through Thursday.
All right, so Lee picked a good time to be on vacation.
Yeah, and we're here. But with Cindy at least, so that makes it way better.
Oh, yeah, I'm here to tell you what's coming up on News Center at 5:30. We've got some serious stories ahead. The Coast Guard has pulled a body out of the water off Kennebunkport. Now, we don't know that person's identity yet, but we do know that just last week the Coast Guard was searching for an 80-year-old missing boater. We'll have the latest on that. And this is hard to think about, kids, I know, but school starts pretty soon, and in Maine and all over the country, in fact, there is a serious problem. Not enough school bus drivers. What are we going to do? That is the question.
Okay.
Well,
thanks, Cindy.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Coming up next on Now, a story that I am so excited about. A furry little guy who gets lost on a baseball field. We'll take a look right after the break.
A scene at a ball game that was kind of like a cartoon, because what cat doesn't love a good Cardinal chase?
The St. Louis Cardinals were hosting the Royals. Bottom of the 6th inning, bases loaded and 2 outs, and a kitty appears in the outfield. How cute! Now Lorenzo Cain won't pick him up. I don't blame him. He's probably a little scared. So the groundskeeper is going to come out and get him. Look how little he is. Now watch what happens when the groundskeeper picks him up. The cat, clearly scared, definitely gets some swipes in. The groundskeeper is feeling it. Now, it's somewhat reminiscent of a game in Seattle in 1984, except that groundskeeper was dancing and spinning in pain. This guy's holding it in a little bit better. But After the cat came off the field, Molina hit a grand slam, and the Cardinals went on to win the game. So the Cards are calling this little kitty Rally Cat, which is so cute.
And you were saying they were trying to keep it?
Yeah, they're trying to keep it. I think they may have lost track of where it is at this point, but I think they might be trying to get it back. I know. So hopefully, I want Rally Cat. He's so cute.
Cats get angry, and it can be very painful.
They're serious.
My cat, a child cat, got fleas one time. I don't know if you've ever given a cat a flea dip.
No.
It is not pleasant because you have to dump in the water, and they just get every extremity to try to scratch you.
Yes.
It's
lots of oven mitts.
Oven mitts.
Here we go.
All right, I think, guys, do we have the image? I think we do. All right. Okay, so you ready for this? This is kind of interesting. I think it's very interesting. These lines are straight.
No, they're not.
And your eye is having a hard time with that,
I'm
right?
stepping back, but they don't look. They do not look straight.
Everybody at home, if you can, go all the way to the side of your TV, like all the way to the side, and you will see them appear straight. So everybody, if you can do that, just leave it up full for a second, guys. There's another way to see them, which is if you squint, kind of make your eyes blurry, you'll see the lines snap into alignment there as well. Because basically when you do those two things, your eyes can no longer process these alternating little patterns of white and black, those diamonds, which is what is throwing your eye off and tricking your brain into thinking that these are not in fact straight. So there are variations on this. This is one of the better ones I've ever seen. You can also bring a ruler up to it if you want, and you'll find that is straight.
I want to talk about Sally's gift here.
Well, here's the thing. This is my Facebook page. Plug. This
shameless.
Is someone squinting and pretending. You have to have a strong gift game if you're going to come on my Facebook page. Because one way or another, it's going to happen. But I thought this was really cool. Some of these, I remember as a kid, you remember when these were all the rage?
Oh, yeah.
Half of them didn't work for me, and they drove me insane. This is actually a magician in Atlanta who came up with this one. So very cool. Anyways, hopefully you saw it at home. If not,
get out your ruler.
You can find it and take a look at it. It's pretty cool.
Okay. All right.
Sometimes I don't have to hit you with a bunch of signs. Sometimes it's just fun stuff.
You're always fun to have around.
Tomorrow we'll talk about mice studies and stuff.
I love it.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. News Center at 5:30 starts right now.